Welcome to Truth, the game show where we award a $1 million prize to the contestant chosen by our audience. We have 6 challengers hooked up to lie detectors, which I'll be monitoring. In every round, we ask each of them 5 questions chosen by our audience. Then we vote one off based on their answers. Let's meet our contestants. Why don't you each tell me a little about yourself?
I'm Joe. I'm 28, and I'm from Philly. Let's go Eagles.
My name is Alexis, and I'm born and raised in Beverly Hills.
My name is Sam. Hello. And I recently moved out here to Hollywood to get in the film industry. And I've been writing a long time before I even got to town. And I've got a lot of scripts. I'm willing to show them. Hit me up. And I'm very excited to be on the show.
I'm Autumn. I'm a California native, and I grew up right here in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Claire. I've never been on TV before. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I go by Lilith, and I'm from Van Nuys, California.
Let's see what the audience wants to ask first. What would you do with the money?
Well, my ex-wife would probably get most of it. She's supposed to get half my income, but the judge hates me, so she always gets the bigger half. But if I got money, I'd pay off my credit cards, finish paying off my bike, and finally have some money in the bank for once. That'd be nice.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Man, I once tried dating 2 girls in the same night, and that did not go well. I was out with this one girl, and we were having a great time, and then I drove her home. I went inside. We fooled around a little bit. That was fun. And yeah, I said goodbye, went to this bar, and I met this other chick, and she was digging me, and I was digging her, and yeah, we left. I took her home. And it's the same home, like they're roommates, dude. So I'm like, okay, Joe, don't push your luck. Let's go home. But no, man, I don't know. I thought like maybe the first girl would be sleeping or like best case, like, oh, who knows, you know what I mean? So yeah, I went inside and sure enough, the first girl sitting there like watching TV, these girls laid it on me. They got up, they yelled at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're beautiful, both of you. Yeah, that sucked. That was, not my finest hour. Yikes.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I think more people should ride motorcycles. Motorcycles are sweet, dude. Like, oh, people like their hybrid cars, they only get 50 miles per gallon. Motorcycles get that kind of mileage, and they're cool, and no traffic. And they cost like a fraction of the price of a car. $5 grand for a bike, and that's a good one, dude. Yeah, bikes are sweet. Easy to find parking too. Wherever, whenever.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Have I ever cheated? In my entire life, like cheated? Of course I have. Who hasn't? I mean, everyone cheats. I've been cheated on by girls. I've cheated on girls. I mean, that's just life, man. Everyone cheats.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love bad movies. Movies that are so bad that then they're good. Because it's just like so entertaining how bad they are. Like Sharknado. That shit sucks, but it's good, Or like, what does the fox say? Oh, that's a song, but it's so bad that I like that song, Stuff like that. Yeah. Bad things become good things. For me.
What would you do with the money?
Oh, I have a financial advisor that handles my money for me. My parents use them. They're really good.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Prima Cinema. It's this service where you can watch a new movie at home the day it's released in theaters. I love watching movies. And I have a home theater, so why wouldn't I use it?
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
No, I would never do that. And I've proven it. I was asked out by Ryan Gosling, and I said no. I was dating a guy at the time. We weren't serious, but I don't cheat.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm a really good cook. If I had to live in the old days where people had to cook their own meals, I could buy just fine.
What is your favorite holiday?
My birthday falls on Christmas, so I get double presents every year. What can compete with that?
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
This is just basic logic. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So I would change tracks to kill 1 instead of 5.
What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. Okay. Years ago, I used to work at a video store. Back in the day and age where they actually had video stores, where you didn't have everything at your fingertips streaming. And I worked with this girl named Rebecca, and we got along so good. We were jokey, we had banter, but the thing I was oblivious to at the time was that she was flirting with me. Like, she was into me. And the crazy thing is, I had a crush on her, but I was in the dark to her feelings about me. But now, years later, I can think back. And I'm like, oh yeah, she was totally flirting with me. She, like, how did I miss that? Nothing happened. And that is a major regret. I might take that one to my grave.
What would you do with the money?
Well, I've been working on a film for several years. It's kind of like my main baby when it comes to screenwriting, but I haven't had the capital to produce it. It's a superhero film, but get this. In most superhero movies, someone gets powers. They either become the good guy or the bad guy, what if they just still remain a guy and they don't use the powers? Maybe they're like, they try him out, but then they're like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my regular life. And it's a superhero film that turns into just a slice of life normal guy film because he doesn't use them. And then at the end, when you think he's like, oh, he's about to save the day, the powers get reversed and he loses them.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Okay. Well, my most controversial / unpopular opinion, a lot of people say that it's pretty bogus that Superman just puts on a pair of glasses and he becomes Clark Kent and no one knows who he is. No one can recognize him. I actually think that checks out. See, I've thought about this a lot. Now, if there's this hero and then you see someone who's kind of your normal neighbor, you wouldn't associate that. Like, your mind wouldn't go there. So, like, here's an example. Let's say you have a neighbor who looks exactly like Barack Obama, but his hair's a little different, and he wears glasses, and he's got a normal job. Let's say he works at a gas station, and you wouldn't say, my neighbor, James, who works at the gas station, has glasses, is ex-president of the United States, Barack Obama. You'd say, oh, that guy kind of looks like Barack Obama, but it's not Barack Obama. Same thing. You wouldn't say, oh, Clark, who is a cub reporter for the Daily Planet, he can't be Superman. He's a bumbling goof. He slightly looks like Superman. Remember, Clark is like uncoordinated. Clark is like, bad at life. Superman is the best. So you would not make that leap. I think it would totally work. Unpopular opinion, and I stand by it.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Dumbest thing I ever did. How do I choose just one? Okay. I was camping outside a store waiting to buy a game console. So it was going to be released, and I wanted to get there early. I wanted to make sure that I got one. And I set up a tent. I was going to sleep outside the store. I was there for 28 hours in my tent. The night before the store opened, when they were going to sell the console, it was go time. I went to sleep in my tent, had my phone with me. I didn't have any way to charge my phone, and my alarm didn't go off in the morning because my phone ran out of juice. I woke up 3 hours after the store opened, and I did not get the console. I slept in a tent on a sidewalk, got back problems from it, for what ended up being no reason whatsoever.
What would you do with the money?
Pharmaceutical companies test drugs on puppies and other small animals all the time, then just abandon them when they're done. Someone needs to do something about it. If I win, I plan on using the money to open a rehab center so I can help those poor puppies recover and live normal lives.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Yes and no. No, not really. I don't believe in monogamy. I would never have a one-on-one relationship. I do mess around with multiple partners, but they all know that we're in an open relationship, so it's not cheating. They're all allowed to have multiple partners too, and most of them do. Even saying that they're allowed to have multiple partners sounds wrong to me. I just don't understand monogamy. How can you tell another person they aren't allowed to do things that make them happy? That just seems so controlling to me. I could never do that to someone, or let someone do that to me.
What is your favorite holiday?
Arbor Day. I like that there's a holiday that's for trees and not humans. I always try to spend that day hanging out in the woods, away from people.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
We heard they were going to cut down a huge area of forest, so about 20 of us went out there the night before to protest. We chained ourselves to trees so they'd have to delay their logging until they could get rid of us. Only we were in the wrong place. They were logging about a half a mile away, so no one knew we were there for almost a week. By the time someone found us, we were out of food and water, and we thought we were going to die. The guy who found us went to ask the loggers for help, and they had to cut down the trees we were chained to in order to free us. All we accomplished was getting an extra 20 trees cut down and almost dying in the process.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I came across a small group of people protesting outside a chemical plant, and I got excited and I called all of my friends, and we all joined in to show our support. Chemical plants are always terrible for the environment, so we were more than happy to be a part of the protest. But as it turned out, it wasn't a protest at all. It was a picket line. The plant was temporarily shut down while all the workers were on strike, and all of us extra people showing up helped convince management to give in to their demands and end the strike. We were trying to get the place shut down, but instead we got them to reopen it earlier than they otherwise would have. So, yeah.
What would you do with the money?
I would hire a private investigator to help me find my daughter Mallory. We got separated on a fishing trip quite a few years ago now, and I spent all my time and my resources finding her, going from city to city, but she's always moved on. So, yeah, a private investigator could be life-changing for me.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Certainly not. I have been ever faithful to my one true love, my husband, who I've not seen since the fishing trip, but he's my one and only.
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
International piracy law. When I was lost at sea one time, I thought all was lost. But a pirate ship came by and actually rescued me. Now, you've heard bad things about pirates, and so had I, but they could not have been nicer. They gave me a job to do on ships so that I could earn my keep when I was there, and everything was going great until they got superstitious. They are superstitious, so they thought for some reason it might be bad luck that I was on board with them. So they were just about to drop me off when we got raided by a Russian Navy ship who put us all in a Russian jail for 5 years for piracy.
What is your most unusual talent?
My most unusual talent. Because, I mean, I've got quite a few talents, but, you know, it's funny because some people think that it's unusual that I can digest grass. Now, I couldn't always digest grass. Humans are not known for their ability to digest grass, but if you really persevere after the first, 40 to 50 upset stomachs, your body does change and it can do it and adapt. And I mean, I don't recommend if you've got any kind of, IBS or anything, but other than that, totally works for me, saves me a fortune.
Describe a typical day in your life.
A typical day in my life is searching for my missing daughter, Mallory. And, really it is one of the big benefits to being homeless and unemployed is that I have no ties. I've nothing holding me back and stopping me from hitchhiking out there, getting on the road, heading to the last town that I've heard that she was in. When I get to the town, usually I find out that she's just left there suddenly. So I'll search for a soup kitchen or a dumpster, get something nice to eat, and then maybe a place to shelter until I hit the road again the next morning trying to find Mallory.
What would you do with the money?
I'd start my own cult, dedicated to summoning Cthulhu and bringing about the end of days.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
When I was 6 years old, my parents forced me to attend the birthday party of the girl who lived next door. They fed me copious amounts of candies, cakes, ice cream. I got caught up in such a sugar rush, I actually participated in their games. The worst part was, afterwards, many of these peasants actually thought we were friends.
And what is your favorite holiday?
I think it's a tie between Memorial Day. There's more murders in the US on Memorial Day than any other day of the year. And All Hallows Eve, when the boundaries between the land of the living and the land of the dead are the thinnest.
Have you cheated on anyone?
Of course I have. I don't answer to men. If I choose to hook up with a guy, he should be eternally grateful. I certainly don't have any obligations to him afterwards.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I wake up, I eat breakfast, I feed my familiars, I go to work. When I get home, I like to relax and work on my bug collection.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cartwright. Have you been injured in an automobile accident or hurt on the job? Has your case already been settled and you've been awarded a large sum of money? Call Rebecca Cartwright, 555-1258. Rebecca is 25, single, and looking for a long-lasting relationship. Must love dogs. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home. The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Sam.
Coming in, I knew I had a 1 in 6 chance. Not a bad chance, but not perfect. So I'm not surprised I have to go home.
Okay, let's get started with round 2. Audience, choose your first question. What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Yeah, so I was the toughest kid in my high school, right? Everybody knew that about me. There was this guy, though. He was 6'8", freakishly tall, big guy. Everyone was like, oh, he's tough. Like, oh, he could take you. I hated that. What, you're tall, so that gives you grit? Bullshit. So, plus the guy, he was in honors classes. He must have been a nerd. No way he could take me. One day, it got to me. I called him out in the hallway. I egged him on. He didn't want to fight. I said, let's go. Not only did he beat my ass, but he beat it so badly. It was just, I was bruising for days, man. Best part is, though, we became best friends, and yeah, the rest is history. I don't know, I picked a fight with a giant, got my ass beat. That was stupid. Yeah, that was stupid.
What is your favorite holiday?
Well, when I was growing up, it was Christmas, hands down. It's probably every kid's favorite holiday growing up. But now it's Thanksgiving, for sure. Day off from work, food, lots of good food, and football. My 3 favorite things.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I broke so many school records when I played high school football that I couldn't even name them all. I knew I wasn't good enough to go pro, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of those records still stand today.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I mean, if there was cash in the wallet, I'd keep that, finders keepers. But yeah, I'd return the wallet. I've actually heard if you put a rubber band around the wallet and drop it in the mailbox, the post office will return it. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, that's what I'd do.
What were you like as a child?
I was just like every other kid. I played with toys. I watched cartoons. I mean, what else would you expect me to say to that?
Describe a typical day in your life.
My days are really busy. My trainer wakes me up at 8, then I hit the gym for 2 hours. I head downstairs to get breakfast. Then I take a shower, get my hair and makeup done. Then I get dressed. And I take my first selfie of the day. Then I talk to my agent and she tells me what photo shoots I have or other obligations. On the rare days that I'm not that busy, I get to come on things like this show.
What's your happiest memory?
When I was 8 years old, my parents bought me my first pony. They made sure it was a surprise by telling me I wouldn't get one until I was 10 years old. Then I went outside, and there she was, with a big bow. It was extra surprising because it wasn't even my birthday.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I was at a party once, and Lady Gaga showed up in the same outfit as me. How am I supposed to compete with Gaga? That was so humiliating.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I always return wallets when I find them. Every time. It's the right thing to do.
What were you like as a child?
I was super busy as a kid. I couldn't decide what I wanted to be when I grew up, so my parents made sure I was ready for anything. I took singing lessons, acting lessons, modeling lessons. You could say I got a really well-rounded education, so I'm ready for any job at this point.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
Oh, it drives me crazy when people throw away plastic bottles with the cap screwed on. I understand that people are busy and can't always do much to help the environment, but all they have to do in this case is not screw the cap back on. If they put the cap on, then there's air trapped in the bottle and it won't flatten out in the landfill. Just leave the cap off and the bottle will get crushed and will take up way less space. It literally takes less than no effort.
What is your most unusual talent?
I know how to survive in the wilderness. I can tell what's edible. I can build a shelter and a fire. I can clean water so it's safe to drink. Just survival skills in general. I don't like being dependent on money or on society, so I learned how to get by on my own.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I live in my van now by choice. When I wake up, I usually drive to the gym so I can work out and get a shower. After breakfast, I usually work one of those food delivery apps for about an hour. I can't stand a normal job, but I can handle those apps in small doses. Once I'm done, I relax for the rest of the day. I go to the beach a lot. Every day feels like a day off because I don't have a regular day job or a boss to deal with. It's pretty great, to be honest.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I organized a demonstration to save a park, and it worked. They were going to level the place and build a distribution center. We had people protesting at the site for 3 weeks straight and got over 1,000 names on the petition. They ended up building the distribution center on the site of a nearby abandoned mall instead, so we didn't lose any jobs or anything. It was a complete win.
What were you like as a child?
I was a straight A student. I had perfect attendance and all that. It wasn't until I became an adult that I realized how conforming to society's standards was actually a bad thing. If I could go back and do it again, I'd focus more on enjoying my childhood.
What is your most unusual pet peeve?
Unusual pet peeve. Well, I tell you, there's a phrase that people overuse all the time, and it really does my head in because people say lightning never strikes twice. Well, I can tell you it does. It struck me 4 times, so that phrase is total nonsense. It's a bum steer.
What's your happiest memory?
Well, that's a no-brainer. My happiest memory is the day my beautiful daughter Mallory was born. I had her in the hospital and everything. I mean, I was already in the hospital because I'd been bitten by a raccoon. And I suppose it would have been easier if I'd had a doctor present, but I got stuck in an elevator on the way to the maternity floor. There I was, with the raccoon I brought with me to get tested for the rabies. It got loose and I had to fend that off for a while. Even so, out Mallory came and life was perfect.
You're the conductor. On a runaway trolley, there are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track which only has 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
before answering that, what you have to understand is that being run over by a trolley doesn't have to be fatal. I've survived it at least twice now, and after an extended hospital stay, I was completely fine. You just have to avoid being crushed by the wheels when you're underneath. So, in answer to your question, your morality question, of course you switch to where the one person is because there's just not room under there for a crowd.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
Absolutely, I would return a wallet. I mean, if I was ever lucky enough to own something as precious as a wallet, I would really hope that someone would return mine to me if I ever lost it.
What's your favorite holiday?
Oh, well, that's easy. It's Thanksgiving. You know, when you're homeless like I am, it's really hard to find places to sleep. But on Thanksgiving, I can sleep in front of any storefront, entrance, window, and everyone just thinks I'm queuing for the Black Friday sales, and I get left alone. It's pure bliss and just warms my heart every Thanksgiving.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I don't have friends, but I have betrayed people. When I was in high school, there was a girl in my class who told me she wanted to kill herself. And I could have helped her, but I didn't. And in hindsight, I do wish I had. I ran into her recently, and she's married to a loser, has 2 ugly children, and works part-time as a waitress. If I had helped her commit suicide back then, she wouldn't be suffering like that. I offered to kill her now, but apparently it's too late. She doesn't want to die anymore.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm an expert at falconry. I have a small collection of extremely well-trained birds of prey. I find owls to be particularly useful.
What is your happiest memory?
When I was in the 4th grade, our teacher had a seizure in front of the whole class and died. We got to go home early. It was a double win.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I found a wallet once. I looked up the owner on social media. It turned out to be some racist, sexist loser who was inexplicably married. I kept the cash, and I went to return the wallet to his home when I knew he would be at work. I told his wife that he left it behind during a one-night stand.
What were you like as a child?
I had a big bullying problem when I was in school. I would speak to guidance counselors, the principal about it. But every time we thought it was under control, something would happen. Like one day, a group of children decided to hold a spelling bee at lunch. For fun. What was I supposed to do? Not beat any of them up.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by onesock.com. Does it always seem like you have an odd number of socks for some reason? Onesock.com lets you buy one individual sock so you can finally even things out. That's onesock.com. Use offer code TRUTH, and they'll include a second sock absolutely free. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home. The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Claire. Oh, I am so sorry, Claire.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks so much for having me. It's just been so exciting to be here. And I've never won anything, so I didn't expect to win today anyway, but I'm just glad I could take part.
Let's begin round 3.